Rewarding yourself might help you stay motivated to finish a task and to avoid procrastination. Because when we receive rewards for the work we've done, it not only makes us feel good and pushes us to continue, but it gives that reinforcement to keep doing it. Hello and welcome to Habit Nerd, a podcast show that knows that few things can have a more powerful impact on your life than improving your daily systems, habits, and mindset. I'm your host, Dr. Bree Hurn, a multi-passionate researcher, lecturer, speaker, and coach. Once a perfectionist who was always busy but not necessarily effective, I overcame illness and burnout and am now obsessed with sharing the science and systems for working with efficiency and habits for abundant health in your mind and your body. Each week, my guests and I share stories and lessons backed by research. So let's buckle up and dive straight into today's empowering conversation. Hi everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me today as we jump into another episode of the Habit Nerd podcast. Today we are talking about a yucky P word, and that word is something that affects all of us. It is procrastination. You know that feeling. There's a task and it is staring at you. You know you should start, but instead you scroll through social media. You check your banking app, you reorganize your desk, you check your emails, and suddenly you decide today is the perfect day to deep clean your fridge. Does this sound familiar? Don't worry, you are not alone. Today we're diving into the science behind why we procrastinate and how to break free from that cycle and what small actionable steps you can take today to start making progress. So let's jump in. Now, let's let ourselves off the hook. Procrastination is not about being lazy. It goes far deeper than that. Procrastination is often tied to cognitive psychology with things like fear, perfectionism, or even feelings of overwhelm. Psychologists suggest that when we procrastinate, we're not avoiding the task itself, we're mostly avoiding the emotions that we've attached to it. So that might be a fear of failure, a fear of not doing it perfectly, or just sheer boredom. Sometimes when there's a task that we've been putting it off because we don't know where to start, because we're afraid that it won't turn out well, or just because it feels like an impossible mountain to climb. Identifying the why you're procrastinating is the first step to accepting it and overcoming the procrastination. So after you've shown yourself some kindness, so you might say something to yourself like, I'm really procrastinating on starting this report because I'm concerned that I don't have all the resources that I need to do it, and I'm focusing on finishing the report rather than just starting it. Or I'm procrastinating on doing this thing for my boss because I'm really worried that my boss isn't going to be happy with my work. I've already got some concerns about how my boss is seeing my work at the moment, so there's some fear there. So it's really standing in my way. So show yourself some kindness. Then flip it to the positive. Flipping it to the positive means entering the future you perspective. So imagine your future self tomorrow, the end of the day, next week, or next year. How would future you feel if they had tackled this task today? Would they be relieved? Would they be proud? Would they be grateful? Of course they would. This simple mental trick can help shift your mindset and push you into action. I know as future Bree, I will feel a weight off my shoulders when I can put a line through the report I've been putting off, or when I've cleaned out that second junk drawer because I have been procrastinating on doing that. But I know future Bree will open that drawer and feel a sense of calm and clarity when things are organized. So think about the future you and how you're going to feel. Now let's break free from procrastination with some steps. The first one is to break large tasks into smaller ones. One of the main reasons we procrastinate is that we find the task in front of us just too overwhelming and we don't know where to begin. But if we break it down into smaller tasks, we'll be able to concentrate on just one thing at a time. If you still find yourself procrastinating after breaking the task down, break it down even further. Break it down to embarrassingly small pieces. This technique will help you overcome the procrastinating because it also encompasses an organizational perspective. When our work is too complex, it's easier to get disorganized and lose focus, trying to do too much at once. The 2-minute rule says that if something takes less than 2 minutes, you can do it immediately. If it's a bigger task, just commit to working on it for 2 minutes, and that's it. More often than not, once you start, you will keep going. I know when my kids are procrastinating on doing their homework, or I'm procrastinating on making dinner or weeding the garden, I say, just focus on starting. Just focus on the first 2 minutes. Because we are overwhelmed, we are focusing on finishing the task. Really, if we focused on just starting the task, we would be able to trick our brains into getting 2 minutes done. And as I said, more often than not, that 2 minutes turns into 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. And then future us has that feeling of gratitude and calm and pride that we overcame the procrastination and the task is either done, half done, quarter done, but at least it's not staring at us, mocking us. The second thing you could do is to break down tasks into smaller ones and write down what these smaller tasks are on a paper list. Making this list is a really great method for avoiding procrastination because a list helps us deal with the several root causes of procrastination. Because by creating the list, you'll feel like you've done something. So you're already getting into the mindset of getting the job done. Secondly, there's a lot of psychology behind crossing a task off your list. This feeling of accomplishment adds momentum to your flow. And lastly, it ensures that you are clear and organized, and it ensures you don't accidentally or intentionally forget about any micro tasks within the bigger tasks that you have been procrastinating on. So make a list, break it down as small as you can and write down the pieces on a list and enjoy that feeling of crossing them off. The third thing to think about is to prioritize important tasks. Now, prioritizing tasks is much more important than being efficient. Prioritizing your tasks helps you stop delaying them. With your to-do list, so prioritizing your tasks and a to-do list, the two methods combined makes sure that you finish the most important or time-sensitive tasks first. That way, you'll be able to move on to the least important ones or the more easily achieved tasks after that. We tend to focus on the more manageable tasks first, but it's actually more efficient to start with the more complex ones. Prioritizing your tasks is really crucial because deadlines change inevitably. Knowing what job is most important will help you manage your priorities more effectively. So think about what's going to move the needle, think about what is most crucial, most fundamental, and manage your priorities more effectively. That way, when deadlines and timeframes change, you'll be prepared to deliver work that produces more meaningful results. Now, number 4, we've spoken about this one before, but it's a really crucial reminder, and it is identify your most productive working hours. Let's just admit that people operate differently, and productivity is no exception to this. Some people might be more productive during the first part of the day, while others might work best later in the afternoon or in the evening. It is essential to identify your peak times, meaning those daily hours when you're most productive. That way you can hack your calendar, you can schedule your most important tasks around those hours and leave your less important ones for the rest of the time. Then your least productive hours can be dedicated to eating, taking breaks, or performing the repetitive tasks that don't require as much cognitive load and as much effort. Now, establishing a routine, a consistent daily, weekly, monthly routine can be highly beneficial to helping you overcome procrastination, especially if you lean towards the more disorganized side. Starting each day with a healthy habit that makes you feel good can significantly impact your day. For example, if you worked in social media, a good idea is to begin each day by checking your emails and reading industry news and updates. Then you might move on to creating content and scheduling it, and then leave the rest of the day for reporting. Remember that establishing a routine should always be done in line with your energy and your productivity cycles that I have just talked about. So having a consistent routine that you follow each day or each week really can help train the neural pathways in your brain for what to expect, and therefore procrastination will be overcome because you don't have that decision fatigue. You don't have that, oh, I've got some time, what should I spend it on? It's already scheduled in because your routine is strong and it is well established and it is based on your most productive self. Hi, Habit Nerd listeners, have I got a treat for you? The brand new Gen AI productivity system has been created by well-known behavioral science consultancy Inventium. And get ready, because this course will change the way you work. No more endless to-do lists and time-wasting tasks. This course shows you how to leverage the power of generative AI to become more productive and to get things done better than ever before. It covers so much, including prompting hacks, Gen AI for writing and creativity, Gen AI for meetings and analysing data, just to name a few. I've done this self-paced course, learned a huge amount, and I know that I will save myself hours and hours in the week now. Habit Nerds, this is a game changer for working smarter in ways you didn't even think were possible. To get started now, you will find a unique link in the show notes of this episode. And in even better news, there is a 10% discount code for Habit Nerd listeners with the code BREE10. Generative AI is the future of work and of working with way more efficiency. Can you afford to be left behind? Now, it's a good idea, Habit Nerds, to set deadlines for yourself. This can really help you with overcoming procrastination. When you set a deadline for yourself for a task, you can plan ahead and motivate yourself. And this reduces the probability of delaying the tasks. For example, many of us fall into the trap of saying, oh, I'll worry about that one tomorrow, or I'll get to that eventually. But in reality, as we know, tomorrow or eventually never actually comes. If you only have one deadline at work, you often end up procrastinating because it gives the false impression that you have an abundance of time. Create an overarching timeline with exact dates for each of the little tasks that I talked about earlier. That way you'll know when you have to do each activity, and you will get that dopamine hit of being able to cross off those little tasks in line with the deadlines that you've set yourself. You'll gain some confidence, your self-efficacy will improve, and the momentum will keep propelling you forward. Like any goal you set, the deadlines should be concrete, they should be realistic, and they should be meaningful to your highest priority tasks. Now, this is a hack that really works for me. May not for other people, but it, for some reason, rewarding myself for overcoming procrastination and getting my things done that I said I was going to do really gives me that positive feeling and that feedback loop to keep doing that in the future. Rewarding yourself might help you stay motivated to finish a task and to avoid procrastination. Because when we receive rewards for the work we've done, it not only makes us feel good and pushes us to continue, but it gives that reinforcement to keep doing it. Consider rewarding yourself after you've finished a task. For example, you could indulge yourself in watching your favorite TV show, and this way you'll stop procrastinating from doing the task. People frequently postpone their long-term tasks because they seek immediate gratification. Consequently, you can reduce the likelihood of procrastination by linking pleasant short-term incentives with long-term beneficial outcomes. I reward myself with big, scary tasks with things like getting a massage, and smaller rewards are things like sitting outside with a piece of dark chocolate and a cup of tea. So if I say to myself, once you've done this part of the task, you can have your chocolate and cup of tea outside in the sun, I'm much more likely to do the task because I know if I have my cup of tea and piece of chocolate without having finished the task, I'll feel a sense of guilt and I'll feel like a fraud. And that doesn't work for me. So maybe see if you can break tasks down into manageable chunks and reward yourself and see if that helps with overcoming your procrastination. Now, make sure that your energy levels are at a level that procrastination isn't caused by being tired. Increasing your energy levels is one of the most efficient ways to stop procrastinating because we often procrastinate because we're tired and we're not operating at full capacity. When you're tired, obviously your energy levels are low, you lose focus and motivation, and you're more likely to look for other activities to engage in. So there are several things you can do to increase your energy levels. I've done a whole episode on this, but a quick recap. You can make sure you're getting enough sleep. You can drink enough water. Hydration and procrastination are inextricably linked. I know when I'm tired and I haven't had enough water, I procrastinate. My productivity diminishes. Eat healthy whole foods. Get fresh air as often as you can. Exercise, move, and this is a really good one. Listen to music that really increases your good mood. That can help you with your energy levels. Even if you get up and dance around the kitchen or dance around the office or, go somewhere quiet at work and just sort of shake it out with your headphones in, sit back down, you'll be surprised how you will be less likely to procrastinate when you get back to your task. Now, have a think about your work environment and whether it is contributing to your procrastinating. Different people work better and are more productive in different settings. Some of the most common factors that work well for most people are good lighting, an organized desk, and a quiet place. However, that might not be the best work environment for everyone. Try and identify the setting that helps you stay focused and engaged in your work. And if your environment is a problem and you can make some tweaks, try and do that and have a think about whether there are any barriers in terms of your most productive self that are caused by your physical work environment. Maybe you could also change your work location. If you've already improved your work environment and you still catch yourself procrastinating, maybe you could change your work location every now and then. For example, if you can't work in public due to the external movement and the noise, find a quiet area to settle down and concentrate. Maybe you're a student and you want to stop procrastinating doing your homework. So a good idea might be to go to the library. If you're working from an office and you can't change your work location, you might be able to find a meeting room or a quiet corner for your more complex tasks. Having some agency over where you work for doing different tasks can really help you with a sense of autonomy and help you overcome procrastinating on tasks in your work. Speaking of your work environment, it is really important to eliminate distraction as much as you can. You first have to identify your distractions to be able to get rid of them. So you can shut off your phone or turn off the notifications during your working hours if you know that a likely distraction is your phone. And I know for a lot of us, it definitely is. Then you can reward yourself by checking your phone only after completing the task that you've set out to do. Another tip might be to use a dedicated app to block notifications automatically from your laptop or your computer, and that can help you concentrate. And my last tip for overcoming procrastination is to take frequent breaks. You need to give yourself breaks from time to time. With all the strategies that we've already mentioned, taking breaks can considerably impact your motivation. It can also help clear your head and recharge mentally and give you the energy to go back to your tasks. For some people, and this is certainly true for me, a 15-minute break a couple of times a day is enough. Others might need a longer break to refresh their mind. See what works for you to get you back on track. It's still advisable to use this time positively, allowing you to reboot your mind and then switch your mind back to the work mode after your break. So instead of scrolling through social media on those breaks, which is more likely to keep you there, try and go on a walk, listen to music, or play with the pet if you happen to be at home. And just one more bonus tip that I find helpful, you could engage in what's called the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working in short, focused sprints. So you set a timer for 25 minutes and you work with zero distraction. When that timer goes off, you take a 5-minute break, whether you feel you're ready to or not. Then you go back to 25 minutes and have a break after 25 for another 5, and you keep repeating that until you've done 4 Pomodoro 25-minute cycles, in which time you can have a longer break, maybe half an hour. This keeps your brain engaged and it prevents burnout. So that's it for today's episode of the Habit Nerd podcast. I hope you found some of the tips around avoiding and overcoming procrastination helpful. Make sure you share my podcast with a friend who might need a little bit of motivation, or contact me over at The Habit Nerd on Instagram. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, take action one small step at a time. You've got this. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Habit Nerd. I hope you found some new inspiration, learned something new, or gained a fresh perspective. If you did enjoy the episode, I would be really grateful if you could please leave a 5-star review, as it helps the show get in the ears of new listeners, plus it should only take you 5 seconds. If you're keen for more tips and insights, then head over to Instagram and follow Habit Nerd.